And I want to welcome the Minister here this afternoon as well to discuss this motion or this commencement matter, which relates to the Irish Greyhound industry, questioning the modus operandi of the Irish Greyhound Board, who are in receipt of a taxpayer subsidy of €285,000 per week this year. Yet their level of communication and flow of information to the organisation known as the Irish Greyhound Owners and Breeders Federation, who represent the owners and the breeders of greyhounds in this country, is abysmal and is shocking, to say the least. This is an ongoing issue, and I could stay here until midnight tonight talking about the greyhound industry, a highly funded industry which has had many shortcomings, and some of those were actually addressed by the last Oireachtas Committee on Agriculture under your own stewardship as chairman at the time, Minister, where an excellent report was provided on the greyhound industry. That report is readily available within the Oireachtas Library for all members to see, but it highlights the significant shortcomings of the industry, particularly around corporate governance of the Irish Greyhound Board, around the drugs issue, and around the need for new legislation to be brought forward to deal with transparency within the sector. The most recent report, which was commissioned by the Irish Greyhound Board around anti-doping and the medication review, is alarming. The findings are alarming. The report was published last summer, and it highlights the shortcomings of the Irish Greyhound Board in being able to deal with the drugs issue within Irish greyhound racing. Now, this is a sector which is of huge significance to many people up and down the country. It's often referred to as the poor man's racehorse, the greyhound, and it's a traditional, a wonderful industry which deserves to be supported by the state. At the moment, the industry is being significantly supported by the state, but unfortunately it would appear that the industry continues to lose money and continues the governing or the state agency part refuses to engage with the breeders and the owners of greyhounds, and that is shocking, alarming and totally unacceptable. Now, probably, Minister, you would have been given the line today by the Irish Greyhound Board that a forum has been established to deal with all of these concerns, but unfortunately the breeders and the owners have no confidence whatsoever in that forum, and they have made a decision not to be part of the forum, which there may be questions around that, but I believe that the reason that they've done that is because of their own integrity, to keep their own integrity, and given the fact that the chairman of the IGB is also the chairman of the forum, and it would appear that the forum is dining a la carte in relation to who is on the forum and who comes before the forum. So there are questions, and if there are questions being raised by the industry, they're not being made up by me in here today, then they have to be addressed. And I believe that the only way to address them is through proper and meaningful legislation, which was dealt with, to be fair, by Minister Coveney in the last Oireachtas through the Horse Racing Ireland legislation. I do know, Minister, and you've written to me recently about your own efforts to try and bring legislation on the greyhound industry. I cannot emphasise enough the need to do this quickly in order to save the future of this great industry from its near collapse position at the moment. So, Thank
you, Look, and thank you, Senator, for raising this matter. And I agree that it is critically important that Board Nagan seek to interface with representative bodies for the sector. So with that in mind, I understand that, as the Senator has said, Board Nagan established the National Greyhound Consultative Forum, bringing all stakeholders together on a wide variety of greyhound-related matters, including anti-doping and medication control. The first meeting of the National Greyhound Forum was hosted by the Board and the Executive of Board Nagan on the 15th of March of this year, with representatives from a cross-section of groups. I understand from Board Nagan that the representative groups are invited to the forum on the basis that they are mandated to represent their members. A number of matters were discussed, and these included proposals for the allocation of additional funding the SIS TV contract, breeders' incentive scheme and public trainers funding. The second meeting of the National Greyhound Forum took place on the 14th of July of this year. I was in attendance myself at the most recent meeting of the Forum, which was held on the 10th of November 2016, together with a cross-section of stakeholders and members of the board of executive of Board Nagan. I have to say that meeting lasted 3.5 hours, and I had the legal representative from the department with me at that meeting to discuss the heads of bill. The meeting was a very informative one, and there was a frank and interesting exchange of views. So for my part, I provided an outline of the proposed measures under the new bill. The CEO provided a brief update on progress on the implementation of the Indicon and Morris reports, and other attendees contributed to discussions on a range of topics including welfare, Harold's Cross and Brexit. As the controlling body of some Greyhound Owners and Breeders Association, I understand that the Irish Greyhound and Breeders Federation have been invited to the forum to represent those affiliations. Other groups, including but not limited to Greyhound Owners and Breeders Associations who are no longer affiliated to the IGOBF, have also been included on the same basis. The other groups that were invited included the following: Greyhound Racing Integrity Ireland, the Greyhound Group, Trainers Association, Limerick and Clare GOBA, Stud Keepers and Private Stadia General Managers. We are, as you have indicated, about to embark on the publication of the heads of a new bill for the greyhound sector. The new bill presents an opportunity for all stakeholders to act as a collective group and move forward in the interest of the greyhound industry. There are common goals shared by all stakeholders, such as to improve welfare, to tackle the use of prohibited substances and to invigorate greyhound racing. There will be an opportunity for all representatives from various interested parties to make presentations to the Joint Committee on Agriculture when the pre-legislative scrutiny phase on the legislation begins, much in a way that happened with the HRI bill. This will be an opportune time to contribute to the creation of the best and most enduring legislation possible, which will empower and future-proof the industry. I sincerely hope that the various representative groups can come together and cohere their efforts in the context of that exercise. In broad terms, the bill seeks to address the deficiencies in the existing legislation, which dates back to 1958, as identified in the Indicon report, by the Joint Committee on Agriculture, Food and Marine, and in the Morris report. It addresses the governance of Board Nagan, strengthens regulatory controls in the industry, modernises sanctions and improves integrity, with a view to building a reputation for exceptional regulation in the sector. An improved reputation will instil confidence in the industry and attract larger sponsorship and in turn revitalise the industry itself. The new heads of bill have been drafted and will shortly be presented to the government. I would say I'm hoping to get it into the government before the Christmas break. And then to the Joint Committee of Agriculture, Food and the Marine for pre-legislative scrutiny process. I look forward to the continued joint efforts to modernise the greyhound industry Act of 1958 so as to provide the strongest possible statutory regulatory response, in particular in response to the medication control and anti-doping. I believe that this bill will strengthen the Irish greyhound industry, enable it to deal with the existing challenges and maximise its future potential. And in spite of recent difficulties in the industry, I am nonetheless confident that the greyhound industry has tremendous growth potential, with sporting, leisure, tourism and cultural appeal across a wide national demographic. However, in order for the industry to realise its full potential, it is imperative that all stakeholders work together towards this common goal and maximise the contribution of the sector to the Irish economy and to the social and cultural fabric of this country. For its part, Board Nagan have assured me that it will continue to prioritise relationships with its key regulatory partners and the wider greyhound bodies in pursuit of the policies to benefit the industry at large. Thank you.
Thank you. In view of the Minister, you met him for 3.5 hours and there's legislation coming before the House and before the committee. I'm sure you don't need a supplementary.
just to thank the Minister. It's a very comprehensive response, and I know that Minister Doyle gets this, he understands it, and to thank him as well for his efforts in bringing this legislation forward and his commitment to try, if possible, to have it before Christmas. We will welcome that, and I think that you're right. The path of engagement is one which can solve some of these issues on both sides. The only supplementary I would add is that to use whatever influence you can to encourage the Irish Greyhound Board to reply to representations that are made to them.
Margaret. Thank you, Minister. I think you're well covered.
Listen, I hope to be in a position to brief Oireachtas members before the legislation is gone to the committee, but we're also likewise hoping to alert the committee to the fact that they will have to put this into their work programme for 2017. Which is 2017, yeah. Okay.
Yes, which is coming upon us. Thank you, Minister.